Let's get ourselves into the draft of the winners finals. It's Qlash against Team Ace.
Definitely expect a lot of captains to continue to be prioritized during the ban phase of the competition. I don't expect things to change up too much. But all the teams here are realizing just how important and how game-changing some of these captains can be, especially when they start getting flexed into different positions. And it also seems like a lot of team compositions are being built around the captains as well.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, some of these teams even picking up 3 with a couple of backliners and then that kind of utility captain with a little bit of damage sitting somewhere in the middle. We'll see what happens here. You know, whatever happens in this draft, though, I really hope that we see Qlash play confidently. You know, I wouldn't want them to sit back, potentially even being scared of what Ace could bring to the table.
Absolutely. So we have Lyra and Yates off the board on the side of Yates, on the side of Ace, excuse me, and Qlash. They got rid of Reza, which is super interesting. We definitely saw Ace play Reza phenomenally well in their series against Tribe,
very unique too, as well.
Finding into the backline, yeah, with that hybrid build. So it's actually very impressive that Qlash has been able to adapt to that, considering that they're in this situation now.
All right, Lorelei off the board as well as Ace looks to lock in their first pick and kind of set the tempo for this draft. They'll take their time here as the clock ticks down. We see Hundor focused, all of Qlash focused over here. One of the things for me, like, Krax was a bit of a wild card for this Qlash squad, and he should be really proud of his performance. This was his first live event, and they went up there as the underdog and got that victory. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Kinetic, so strong. Qlash hovering over that Churnwalker. In the game Churnwalker was in, we saw a lot of success just finding people to chain them up and then dropping the huge trespass, just stunning everyone in place.
Yeah, and they had that very thick lineup. I think, did they have an Arden paired up with that as well? It
with the like, gauntlet and
the
trespass.
And then it was like, you know, pick your poison there, because maybe even they might have had the Lorelei in that draft as well. Not going to be the case here, though. Anka getting through with the Churnwalker. That's pretty powerful for the first 2 picks.
Yep, a lot of flexibility, a lot of early game pressure. Anka, one of those heroes that you really need to be careful about, because if you get out of position as a squishy backline carry, she's going to mark you with that dagger, she's going to blink in and just absolutely blow you up. With Churnwalker, it's so hard to step up against him. I really think Ace needs to look towards more of a comp that's going to try and kite back, or at least has some disengage, which I definitely think Maline has. If they do lock in this Scarf, they do. He has that in his kit as well, so I definitely like the direction that Ace is taking their draft.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely captains in this game where you think about them being easy to stack up on. Of course, Scarf loves to stack up on a Finn. Churnwalker is going to have a similar deal. You just got to make sure that you're not getting hook and chained up, because Scarf's going to have a hard time with that.
Absolutely. Samuel, we saw Ace actually run with the Samuel in their series against Tribe, but it's going to be Qlash picking it up this time around. Ace was successful with it. Going to be very interesting to see if Qlash will be as well. A lot of AoE damage. The synergy between Churnwalker and Samuel is absolutely phenomenal.
So good.
Drops those drifting darks, chains people up, pulls them back. Very hard to deal with. It's all going to be about positioning here in series number 3.
Honestly, I might have. I don't know if we underestimated how much Qlash was paying attention to the first series here.
Yes,
yeah,
I definitely
right?
I underestimated Qlash's performance as a whole, but how much they've been able to adapt to these drafts, I think, is absolutely remarkable. Whoever is on that coaching and analyst staff, I think they're doing a phenomenal job at this point.
Yep.
And it's definitely setting the tone for them to do very well here.
Yeah, no, they look great here. Now, Adagio was locked in on that side. Arden for Ace as they look for their last pick, and they're hovering this glaive. This will be the first glaive of the tournament, and it's locked in. I'm pretty hyped on this pick.
Definitely a pick that can be absolutely devastating if you're a carry and you step up too far, you're getting afterburn. If you're an engage hero like this Anka and you go in too deep, Glaive's a phenomenal hero for peeling. That was the issue that I said Tribe had in their series against Ace. Ace has the Arden for protection. They have the Glaive for peeling. Both Kinetic and Maylene have these disengage abilities. Very, very great stuff. And Qlash going to round out their draft with the Vox pick.
Yeah, Vox comes through. I mean, that's pretty steady as she goes. Pick for the side of Qlash. I think both teams have strong drafts here. I might even favor Qlash's draft a little bit more than Ace's, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
It's all going to come down to execution. Ace and Qlash both need to be on their A game. I like drafts from both sides. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
That's right, Ace was sitting in the wings, maybe a little bit cold, but I don't think that's going to deter them from doing their best and trying to find their form right away. Qlash, with that hard stopper of a win, resuscitated themselves and are ready to get on the rise and try to get yet another upset from a top team, the little European team that could. Guys, at the desk, Munch, Bacon, take it away.
Thank you very much, D-Gon. Thanks, Humanist and Flash as well, holding up the desk right there. But it's time to jump into our winners bracket games. It's Ace up against Qlash. And I feel like I don't believe what I'm saying right here. Both of our North American teams in the lower bracket. This is not how I think anyone was predicting this tournament to go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were expecting it to be the two North American teams in the grand finals. That is now guaranteed to not be the case because in our next series, one of those two teams will be eliminated from the tournament. So, again, very, very surprising results. Really just Qlash kind of showing a lot of the, the detractors that they are here to play, that the European power that showed up at the start of 5v5 was not just a fluke.
Certainly was not. Right now, they are looking fantastic. But the question to me is, how do things change here? Because Ace have a very different style of game to what you're likely to see out of Nova. Ace are cool, calm, calculated. They are... It's like everything in the game is a mathematical equation to them. That's how they play Vainglory, whereas Qlash, kind of the opposite style.
Yeah, Qlash very much kind of excels when things get a little bit chaotic and things get a little, out of control. That's where Qlash really finds themselves winning a lot of situations. So we'll see how this is going to go. Again, Ace, very much that calculated type of play, knowing exactly where to be, when to be there, and just clean rotation. So we'll see if they are able to just use that ability to dominate this one early on. Look at these 2v1s immediately. You see Ace looking to get some pressure onto this bottom lane. Krax needs to be a bit careful. A little low on health on this Anka. Does have the healing flask available, but it's just going to be a lot of pressure on this turret. Meanwhile, opposite side of the map, likely going to be seeing the exact same thing as Glaive is going to be pretty low as well when we get to take a look over there. But both turrets just going to get punished pretty heavily.
Yeah, a lot more damage on the bottom side of the map, though. Ace, having a Scarf and a Kinetic, are going to be able to burn through that turret exceptionally quickly. Whereas on the other side, Churnwalker isn't going to add much to a siege, I think it's fair to say. So it is going to be Ace that start the game off with the first turret takedown. It will be answered fairly quickly, though, by Qlash.
Yeah, this next minion wave should be enough for them to get that turret down. Although Glaive is back up there to help defend, so it's going to be able to stay alive just a little bit longer, but this Vox, these Resonance bounces, just causing... It's so difficult to lane against a Vox right now because of how much damage those Resonance bounces can do.
Laning against Vox, CP Vox specifically, it's just not fun. Like, it does so much damage. It's so difficult to consistently CS and avoid that Resonance. It's especially...
It is going to be a CP Vox, though, because Hundor right now sitting on a weapon blade with the Book of Eulogies. That's not terribly surprising, because a lot of times crystal carries will take that into the lane just so that they have a little bit of extra last hit potential, and of course Book of Eulogies for the sustain. But we'll see if it does switch it up and go into the full crystal build afterwards.
Interesting to see how Darklon has been using his flask in this game so far. He's already used it twice, and he's never been low. He's just more than willing to put that on cooldown, more than willing to use his flask in order to get a good trade with the opponent and basically get that cooldown ticking through.
It's actually very reminiscent, as we actually see First Blood there, Ace picking up the kill in the bottom lane. It's very reminiscent of actually just 16 World Championship with Phoenix Armada, and the way that they would use the Fountain of Renewal was unlike anyone else. They would go in, dive underneath the turret, and even though they were still like half to 3/4 health, would just use the Fountain just to keep themselves topped up, so that you can't look for the counter engage at all. And they say, okay, by the time you can come and re-engage on us, that cooldown's going to be up available again anyway. So, like, very, very similar kind of strategy.
Here we go, bit of a collapse from Qlash, or attempted. It's not going to find its mark, unfortunately for them.
It's a weapon box.
I mean, this is exactly what we saw out from Ace in the first game of today as well. They understand exactly how far they can push. They aren't going to get caught out. They're not going to get caught with their pants down in one of these rotations. They go a certain way up the lane, they shove the turret, but then they back away. They know that the rotation is available from their opponent.
Yeah, they are very much that calculated style. Like you said, is going to be the weapon Vox. Interesting to see that that's a decision made here for Hundor, because Crystal Vox is what's been dominating the Vox builds for really the past month or two. It's been all about the CP Vox, but this time around it will be weapon Vox. Also, interesting to note that the Keanu Nakoa, I'm curious to see if he's going to be building any other weapon power, if that was again just for the early game, grabbing that weapon blade that he started with.
This is actually the first time I've seen this Glaive skin in game, and I have to say it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I've not been lucky enough to get that one out of the box just yet, but yeah, I'm excited just to see Glaive at all, honestly, because it's such a playmaking hero. Whenever there's a Glaive in the game, there is always the chance that you could come back. No matter how far behind that pick that Glaive can offer, so a lot of times it's well worth even suiciding just to get a carry out of the situation.
Yeah, and not only the ability to come back if you fall behind, but if you get a lead and you have that Glaive, it's just so difficult for the enemy team to come back because you're constantly able to get those picks. Burst of Judgment's going to come down and land a nice stun. Big damage onto the Scarf. The Chain CC doing wonders for the side of Qlash as they find themselves their first kill of the game.
Oh, the pull is going to be here from Tyrus, or at least the Chain, as he does get rooted up by Shanna. Krax is coming on into the lane as well. Anchor does a ton of burst damage. Darklon needs to be a little bit careful here. Nice rotation from Qlash. Nice collapse. Able to protect their player as well. I thought that was going to be a trade at best.
Yeah, it certainly looked like that was the way it was heading, but Qlash able to find that kill, get into the lane, like you mentioned, defend the turret, and defend their teammate. Now we see we are approaching that 7-minute mark. Ghostwing is going to be available, and so we are going to be seeing these teams kind of posturing up around that objective very likely here soon.
Sweetbox just farming away in that top lane right now. As we just see the minions getting cleared, and this is going to be the story of the next couple of minutes, is go to that mid lane, clear the wave, and then try and take control of the rivers. Darklon just getting bullied there by Krax. That is very much his river over up near Black Claw. And when it comes to vision control, actually, so far it's looking pretty great for Qlash. They're doing a really good job of controlling the river areas.
Actually, we talk about how slow it is to clear the jungle right now. With a Churnwalker and a Vox, you can actually clear the jungle pretty darn quick by just chaining everything up together and getting all that splash damage. So I really like what Qlash is doing there in terms of just keeping the jungle, getting the minions cleared out as quickly as they can. Now they find some damage on to this kinetic.
Creation.
He is absolutely going to go down here. Trespass and Oblivion both being used to secure this kill, though.
I love the fadeaway kill as well coming out from Krax. He knows that the Mirage is going to get it. He walks off down the lane and lets the clone finish it off.
But again, like, obviously right in this situation, it's not going to be that big a deal because I don't think Ace is going to be able to capitalize on this. That was 3 big cooldowns used just for a single kill in the bottom lane that's ultimately not going to lead to anything. That's something that Ace, I think, can definitely pay attention to, and as this game gets further on, when their damage is a bit higher, that is something that they can take advantage of.
Qlash are just like, you know what, Darklon, if you're willing to use your flask so willy-nilly, then we'll use everything we've got, okay?
Also keep in mind, while that was going on, this Glaive's just been AFK farming up in the top lane, takes down another turret there too. So Ace starting to build an objective lead with their again, passively farming and getting themselves advantages.
Sweetbox may be in trouble though. Once that afterburn is on cooldown, it's a long time until you get any mobility again as Glaive, but Qlash deciding not to commit to the fight on that one. They didn't know where the rest of the squad was, didn't want to push an advantage that they didn't actually have. But you're absolutely right, in terms of turrets, Ace are actually pretty far ahead.
Yeah, again, they've just been passively farming these lanes, finding these opportunities to just shove it in when they create these little distractions across the map and say, okay, while you focus on this, we're just going to keep pushing this other side lane and just find ourselves objectives. And that's really just kind of how Ace has been playing.
Krax could maybe get a kill here, honestly.
Very much
If
could.
he can land his dagger, this could be Sweetbox going down. He's not willing to commit to it just yet. But you can never underestimate Anka's damage. Is he going to throw the dagger in the brush? I don't think it's going to happen. Could have been beautiful.
It's one of those situations where you don't know where the rest of Ace Gaming are. You don't want to go diving in and then all of a sudden find yourself in a 3-on-1 situation. But we are going to be getting a pause coming on through here. One of the players having some issues. But again, another kind of quiet game early on from Ace where they're just passively finding themselves small advantages here and there. And eventually we'll look to snowball this into a point where they feel like they can just dominate a team fight and just look to close it out in one fight. That's kind of the way that Ace has been winning these games.
Yeah, it really has been. And so far, Ace are the ones in control of the map. They're the ones that are getting these objectives. However, in the first series of the day, the way that Ace actually won those games out was sneaking an objective, or it was forcing your opponent into a position where their backs are against the wall. Whereas here, Qlash haven't fallen so far behind that it feels like they can't team fight. It's not like they're in a position where the entire map is just lost. In terms of actual control, in terms of like the dragon areas, Qlash have been the ones with vision control. Qlash have been the ones posturing around those objectives. It's just been they're over-committing to these catches in the side lane, and it means that they lose things elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, but like you said, the main objectives, the dragons, haven't really been a focus just yet. No one's really made a heavy play towards that Ghostwing. Blacklaw is going to be up shortly, and that's going to be another one that, who's going to try and posture up around that? Who's going to try and maybe force a fight around one of these dragons first? Because that could very well spell, the end of the game for whoever. If one of these teams gets caught out at all, it could be the end of the game because they are both so willing to just push the limits once they have an advantage and never look back and just close out games from the moment they get a sizable lead.
Let's not forget how game number 3 in the series ended between Qlash and Nova. They went for this insane kind of base race scenario, managed to pull it off in the end, got a couple of catches, defended their base, and then just pushed on through for the victory. This is the kind of situation that maybe they can make happen against Ace, but let's not forget, that's how Ace won the VPL in their region. So they are no strangers to base racing.
Yeah, they absolutely understand what it takes. But again, we haven't seen either of these teams really make a move that indicates they're going to be looking for one of these big pushes just yet. It's all been about just kind of passively farming, looking for a kill here and there, trying to get the minion waves built up so you can push down a turret. It's been a very, again, quiet game thus far through these first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and usually I would say that very heavily favors Ace. It's certainly the situation that Ace want to happen in these games. It's very much their style, but actually, it's also kind of been Qlash's style too. I was talking about how they like this chaotic style, and they do later on into the game. Oh, Krax is in trouble. One more auto would do it. He's barely getting away with his life. Can he walk away from this one? Shanna trying to find... Oh, no.
He went the wrong way.
Scout cam's got you. I feel like if you just kept running, you maybe would have got away with that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, the movement speed was going to come up for Shanna very shortly anyway, so it would have been very unlikely that he gets away. But also, I want to talk about Shanna just recognizing that the ultimate was thrown out and moving in a way so that he didn't get hit by many of those mirages, so that he could just continue that chase, find the kill. And Ace also takes down this turret in the mid lane. That immediately leads to them positioning around the Ghostwing.
It certainly does. Ace now in command
Almost
of
like
these
this
dragons.
Exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah. They find a pick and they turn it into an objective. This is Ace's mantra. And there's no way that this is going to get stolen, or am I going to eat my words? No, they do get it in the end. Arden finishes that one off. Glaive trying to get away. Nice pull coming on through. And it's actually going to be Churnwalker to finish off the kill. Nice play by Tyrus.
They do get a kill for it, but now there's still 4 members with the Ghostwing buff. However, Ace have the opportunity to try and shove in this middle lane, take down this outer turret, and even that lane up a bit. They're going to be able to do so as no one from Ace is able to get here in time to respond to try and stop that take. So a great job by Qlash recognizing what was happening and being able to answer.
Massive, massive minion wave up in the top lane, though. Someone from Qlash is going to have to react to that eventually. Krax surely looks for a 1v1 here. He's up against Kinetic as Anka. I feel like that's a fight that you just have to take.
Yeah, I mean, they had pretty good vision of where everyone else on the side of Ace was, but now that they've made their way down, the opportunity has gone. You definitely, I feel like I agree with you, should have gone in on that, because that's Honka's bread and butter, is going in and just assassinating us.
I mean, I guess the other side of that is Farmwise Crack's very far behind, gets the Mirage off to try and escape, but it's not going to be enough. He did a ton of damage though, and here comes the rest of Qlash. Scoff gonna get the Dragon's Breath on 2-3, but will be finished off fairly quickly. Samuel gonna get the heal from his passive. Techno JJ gonna be trying to finish these kills off, but they decide to take the trade 1 for 1. But it's a couple of turrets as well for Ace.
Yeah, Ace going into that mid lane again, saying, you know what, we'll give you a kill, we're going to take the objectives. They don't care about giving up a kill or two here and there if it means that they get objectives in return. Yeah. And that's what they've been able to do all game long.
I'm excited to see this Vox later on into the game. Hundor is known for his late game carries, and Vox, especially once you've got a few items, can really start to melt through people. Weapon power or CP, he's definitely one of these carries that, if you can play him well, if your stutter step is great, if you can dodge the abilities with your A, he can be the difference maker in these fights. And Hundor, absolutely one of the mechanical players that can make that happen.
I'm also curious to see where this build is going to go. If he's going to get the breaking point, that's kind of like the staple of the Vox build, because you can stay alive for so long. You get that breaking point, you get it stacked up, but not a lot of players are really going for breaking points too frequently because it's not as strong as it used to be. It takes a long time to get stacked up, but it definitely, I think, again, fits perfectly for Vox. But Ace, this Black Claw,
really, really good from Ace. They force a fight onto Cracks, make him force his ultimate out, and then suddenly start this engage. Here we go. Our gauntlet comes down from Arden. It's going to be Dragon's Breath onto everyone. This is huge from Shanna. Double kill comes on through for Creation. Make that a triple, please. That's going to be Techno JJ forced away, desperately trying to get some damage out, but there's no way you can fight this team from Ace.
Ace are going to have a few members low, but it shouldn't matter. They should still be able to start up this Black Claw and take it down. A great fight. Again, the engage from Darklon, getting himself in the thick of things, soaking up so much of that initial burst damage that Qlash is able to bring to the table and allowing his carries to run free.
Yeah, and you see Tassa wearing a crown on that scarf, and rightly so, because he has been playing out of his mind. Creation with the triple kill. Looks like one of the players having a bit of a technical hitch will be able to get that smoothed on over, but this game has been looking relatively close between the two teams, but it's felt like the whole time it has been Ace with an advantage, whether that's gold, whether that's kills, whether that's turrets, whether it's just vision even in these later minutes of the game. It's very much been Ace on the front foot and Qlash trying to figure out what they can do to throw them off kilter.
Yeah, and thus far, nothing they've been able to do has thrown them off kilter at all. Ace has just been in control, finding objective after objective. Again, giving up a kill or two here and there, but they know that that is a perfectly acceptable result. You give up a kill, but you get a turret, or you get two turrets in some instances off of that one kill going over to your opposing team. That is more than valuable for a trade for the side of Ace, and it's going to be tough for Qlash to find a way back into this game at this point. With this Black Claw push about to happen, this could be the last stand for Qlash in this particular game, because all Ace would need is maybe a kill or two, and they should be able to finish it out.
That is one of the scary things in Vainglory, isn't it? Once you get to those later stages, just 1 or 2 kills can be enough to end the game, especially if you can get a Black Claw off the back of it. But I would imagine that the next couple of minutes, obviously the Black Claw has just been captured, so there'll likely be a push coming out from Ace alongside that. If Qlash are able to defend, the question is how well can they defend? Because that Ghost Wing could be a difference maker in the next following fight. If Ace are able to just push with Black Claw, rotate down to Ghost Wing while Black Claw's finished off, take that dragon as well, that is how they'll snowball this into a win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very difficult for Qlash to make the comeback at this point. Ace has a pretty sizable lead. They've had control of the map for quite some time now, and it's just feeling like it's an Ace victory. Ace's game to lose at this point. They, again, have the Black Claw pushing through the mid lane, and this has kind of been their signature style. They say, okay, Black Claw is going to take a while to get down the mid lane. Let's go ahead and push one of the other side lanes and then join Black Claw at that armory turret.
Yeah, and more than willing to push without minions here. That shield is not going to do nearly enough to stop a fully stacked team in a side lane. Another armory turret gone down. In the meantime, Black Claw hammering on the door for Qlash. They need to start a fight right now.
Yeah,
they need to make something happen.
Right now, they're just getting run around by Ace. They have to choose one side to defend, and they're kind of splitting up. It looks like it's Krax trying to go in for an assassination, but now he is completely split from the rest of his team. Is an Anka, but it's not going to be enough to get out of that situation, and all of a sudden, there's that one kill. Black Claw is going to go down. Armory almost falls. How much more is Ace going to try and look for? They're not going to actually stick around. I thought maybe getting that one kill into Krax would be enough for them to try and stick around, try and dive into the base, but the Vein Crystal does a pretty fair chunk of damage.
It really does. Oh, Tassa could be in trouble here. Boots will get him on out for now. Maleen has to drop on into the 4. Will get... No, doesn't get finished off. The shields come on through. Sleep is not going to land, and Afterburn gets Sweetbox out to safety as well. A masterclass from Ace, saving the teammate.
They are constantly and just narrowly escaping these situations. Maleen again going to be gutting low. They do finally find a kill. Qlash does.
Nice stun.
They find a second one onto the Scarf. Now Ghostwing is going to be going the way of Qlash.
All right, the Ghostwing I was talking about that'll snowball into a victory, it might just go the way for Qlash here. If they can get this, it'll go on to all 5 members as well. Take a moment, reset the map, and then suddenly Qlash, with a Ghostwing on their side, they could actually look at winning these team fights.
Yeah, it'll be definitely still an uphill battle. Ace has looked just so dominant, but the kills actually even right now, 7 apiece. It's just all been the map controls where Ace has this massive advantage. But with the minion wave here in the bottom lane, it's only 2 members of Qlash for now, but they're fighting so much damage onto this kinetic. We'll finally get the help from the rest of the team. And now it's a 5-on-3. Qlash need to get the rest of their team down here or just back away.
Yeah. The rest of the squad heading on over. Krax pushing in this side lane. What Anka does exceptionally well is that split push. Just force pressure elsewhere. She can take turrets so quickly. And just that distraction has allowed Hundor to get the turret in the bottom lane. We're starting to get to that late stage Vox that we were talking about. The Bonesaw has been finished, so these tankier members like Darklon won't be able to just sit on the front line.
Yeah, it's definitely going to start to become an issue. If Ace aren't able to find a kill here, they need to, like, they've been able to find a few picks here and there and force these objectives, but like you mentioned, Qlash, with this Ghostwing buff, we're able to actually almost outmaneuver Ace in the bottom portion of the map with their, the 3 members, the Anka split push. They do, at some point, need to bring the Anka with the rest of the team because you won't be able to survive that 4v5 forever, but when you're able to get enough pressure down, if you're able to keep your team alive, you can just kind of catch your enemy rotating through the jungle as they try and decide which lane to focus on.
All right. Suddenly, things seem a lot more doable for Qlash. If you asked me 5 minutes ago, I would have said Ace had got this in the bag, but after the last couple of minutes, Qlash feel like they could make things happen once again. Tyrus trying to push on forwards. Drifting Dart comes out from the likes of Techno JJ. He wants to land that cleave, wants to build up those stacks on his Dragon's Eye. The Spellfire going to be ticking away on multiple members here. And I keep on seeing these daggers come out from Krax. Oh, the burn isn't going to be there. Fountain going to keep him alive. Tyra's on the front line taking a lot of damage himself.
An early Fountain being used. Trespass will find a stun. And it's going to be Ace getting dove on now. Qlash looking for a kill. Can they find anything though? Maleen still very healthy. It's actually Arden that ends up being the target now. They're getting some good damage onto him.
Oh my goodness, this is
Find
so
the
close.
Kill.
How is everybody surviving it? Techno JJ gets stunned up but walks away. Sweetbox wants to steal the blue. It's not going to happen. Krax grabs that one for himself. Every single time during that fight I saw Krax throw out a dagger, I was like, is he going to go in? Is he going to go in? Oh my goodness.
Getting started. This has been disastrous for some teams before. Ace is here to defend, but Moline taking a big
Yeah.
chunk of damage. The Fountain is not going to be available for
Techno's
Darklon.
overcommitted. He's going to go down here. This could be huge for Ace. The Dragon's Breath burning on through. This is surely a one fight. It's an Ace coming on through. And Ace are going to walk on into the baser and end things.
3 members left alive for the side of Ace Gaming, or Team Ace, excuse me. And they have to go through these armories still, but the Vein Crystal is not going to be
They've got 20
able
seconds to do it. There's no way that Qlash survives right here. This is going to be the game for Ace. Team Ace with the Ace walking into the base. In your face, Qlash.
I don't think I have anything to that.
Well,
got
there it is.
nothing.
Team Ace, though, phenomenal way to end things out there. After it was getting real dicey for them, it was getting close towards the end, they managed to pull things through with one final team fight. And honestly, maybe biting off a bit more than they could chew. Qlash going for the Black Claw, questionable decision.
And this isn't, again, it's not the first time we've seen a questionable Black Claw decision made here, because when you start off this Black Claw, you have to remember you're dealing with the Black Claw damage as well as your opponent dishing out a whole bunch of damage. They nearly got it turned. They almost were able to take out Creation, but in the end, it was a full 3 for 5 in favor of Ace, and they were able to turn it onto the Vein Crystal and pick up the first win of the series.
All right, EA 1-0 up against EU. Let's find out a little bit more about how that happened as I kick it over to Degon.
All right, a little sweaty couple last moments there. Ace was in control, pushed down those last couple turrets, but then quick Ghost Wing steal and Crash was right back in it, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of this Qlash squad here. Like, honestly, they're playing beyond the expectations of almost every single person here, which is a really big deal to fight through. I can't believe they stood up against Ace like that, and literally one more good team fight, 2 more good team fights, they take that win, and that's just nuts.
Very, very respectable performance coming out of the side of Qlash. I mean, extending the game to almost 20 minutes, only being down 3 kills at the end of it. That's really good. I mean, they can hold their heads high.
It's phenomenal.
If they make one adjustment going into this game number 2, it's don't take Black Claw when you're in that position. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, I think that they would have stood a much better chance in that game if they would have
had the momentum, right?
Yeah, exactly. If they wouldn't have made that decision, I mean, obviously they lost the game off the back of it, but just having that mortal wound and that little bit of extra damage, it puts you in such a precarious position that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Team Qlash, we asked you guys to vote at home who's been your MVP so far. Hundor with 42%. Definitely earned this accolade, getting Qlash into the final winners bracket. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, game 2 of our winners finals. Don't go anywhere. afterwards. That was a Razor replay.
아직 안 왔어. 다 잡음. 오케이, 보수 텔 탈게. 줘. 와드 박아줘, 와드 박아줘.
That was the Razor Phone 2 replay brought to you by the Razor Phone 2. And Team Ace just cleaning that last fight up, and you touched on it. I think Qlash tried to bite off more than they could chew, and Team Ace was right there to capitalize on it and close that game out. What are your thoughts going on to this potentially final game for Qlash in the winners finals?
Really, just tighten things up. I mean, I know that they're playing phenomenally, so it's hard to like try to stack more on their shoulders right now. But this team, I feel that they're capable of winning right now. They just have to clean up some small things, like you said. Don't take this forced fight. Like I think they almost got ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
Like we're winning.
Absolutely.
Grab the Black Claw, you know, and it needs to be like, yo, remain calm at all times.
Yeah, I mean, they were winning all their team fights up until that point. They didn't have to, force that. They were coming back, but they got too anxious. They didn't keep their composure. But they need to make sure they maintain that for this game number 2. They can do it, though. They can absolutely do it. They can get to that finals, which would be an absolutely massive accomplishment for Europe. And I'm sure all of Europe is definitely behind Qlash right now.
Can Qlash complete the comeback against Ace? Will Ace close this one out? Vote on your screen right now as we get ourselves in the draft of Game 2.
The draft is underway. Resonates! 2 heroes that I think we've seen 100% participation, whether it's picked or banned.
Yeah.
Thus far today, Ace hard hovering that pedal. Would be absolutely fascinated if we saw a pedal here today. But hey, Crystal Power pedal, those targeted heals, pretty dirty. Churn Walker coming off the board, no surprise
Ozo!
there.
I got the Ozo hovers now. These guys are just having some fun up there, I think.
Yeah, they are. And a lot of times when you are relaxed and you are having fun, you can have very, very good results, but they don't want to have too much fun. They definitely don't want to be cocky. Taking Lyra off the table is their final ban, and Qlash going to lock in that Lorelei as their first pick.
Okay, and then no surprises. Kinetic into the Ankh. I mean, we had that soft meta coming into this. The meta definitely developing as the tournament progresses, and they have the burst damage. You got your weapon carry right here. Now what is the answer for Qlash?
It's absolutely stunning to see how effective Anka still is. A lot of her late game damage was nerfed in update 3.9, but teams are still finding a ton of success. Her skill cap is just so high that she is very, very dominant here today.
I really love what Qlash is doing. This was the winning combination for them before. Lorelei, Arden, the Scarf comes through. We know that they're going to have that strong backline mage in the Scarf. The Arden brings so much to the table. Lorelei as well, both defensive and offensive.
Absolutely agree. Those barriers are absolutely disgusting. If Anka does mark the carry, you can definitely be sure that that carry is going to be absolutely fine with so much barrier. Ace going back to that Samuel pick, they had success with it earlier. There's no reason for them to not want to try it again. I really like the synergy that it has with Kinetic. There's a lot of range, a lot of poke, a lot of kite potential. If they need to hard engage, they definitely can. You throw out the Oblivion, put the enemies to sleep, position however you want to, flicker. I don't think we've seen Ace play Flicker yet today. That ought to be interesting to see how they utilize it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. The thing about the Flicker, though, is, you know, Qlash is going to know. We got to control Vision. If Vision is controlled, I kind of worry that they won't be able to break through the front line of Qlash if Qlash play it well. They're kind of building that kite and re-engage composition that they had before. As long as they can play it effectively, it's going to be great, and Vox fits into that perfectly.
Absolutely, Vox in that mid lane, almost certainly to be CP power, finding that balance damage, making sure that, you know, if Ace does try to engage, they have to say split up, and I definitely think that's going to be in the best interest of Qlash. Locking in the Ringo, though, that's a hero that in 3.9, the weapon power damage, if you know how to stutter step excellently well, which these players certainly do, very, very deadly.
The one-armed gunslinger himself. Kind of like the face of Vainglory. When I think of like the most classic hero of all, it's got to be Ringo, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the first player you play in the tutorial, right?
Yeah.
Got the Gold Rush going on, you know, competitions for that back in the day.
I got a Gold Rush going on.
Lance, though, coming through. I think that's
Lance,
the new hero. Yeah, that's definitely a hero that, you know, Nova ran it earlier. It was Delphi. He didn't find a lot of success. He had some great impales and stuns, but, you know, now it's Ace's turn. Show him how it's done.
Yeah, it's strange for me from Ace's side. It feels like these heroes have a couple different gears. Like, some want to go in fast, some are going to move a little bit slower. Sweetbox kind of is really going to have to watch his positioning.
Yeah, on that Flicker, he's going to make sure that he's wanting to roam, catch people out of position. Those moon cloaks have to be on point. They've got to maintain good communication, with which Ace has certainly had up until this point if they want to find success and move straight to the finals.
Post-draft, yet again, more focus on those captains. Lorelei getting through to the side of Qlash, but this time, Tasa has the champion on his side. Let's see if it works out for him. Let's send it over to the casters to get us into the game.
Here we go, game number 2 of the series here. It's Qlash up against Ace. Ace starting things off strong for the East Asian region. They've already won one series and they've already got a game in this one, looking to push towards the grand final. Let's bear in mind that's what's on the line here. Whoever wins this series goes straight on into the finals.
Yeah, Ace have not lost a game yet this tournament. We'll see if they can continue that streak and make this a 2-0. Of course, Qlash going to look to have something else to say about that with a Ringo pick coming through. It's one of those heroes that we really haven't seen too much in competitive in recent memory.
Yeah, and we were talking about Hundor, you know, playing something a little bit old school with the weapon power Vox. And he's like, you want to see old school? You want to see old school weapon carry? Let me show you old school weapon carry.
Tried, but
that's true. That's
your point. But there is going to be. I'm really interested to see again, like Qlash was mentioning, if you can stutter step properly with the Ringo, your damage output is actually insane. Like getting the constant crits. If you're able to weave in a minion kill here or there and get the guaranteed criticals, you can actually win out some trades pretty easily with him. The other thing I want to talk about from that draft is, the big stories I feel like in the drafts thus far today have been the Lorelei and the Anka. And we're saying, oh, are we going to start seeing both of them get banned? How about neither of them gets banned? And we say, okay, each of us gets one of these obscenely powerful picks, and we just go from there.
Yeah, Keanu Nakoa, this time on the Lorelei, we saw him have huge success on that Lyra earlier on in the day. But Lyra not actually going to be locked in at all in this draft. Was banned in the second rotation. We are going to see Hundor and Tyrus, though, pushing away in this bottom lane. This is pretty much what we saw in game 1, except it was Ace pushing away with the Scarf, supporting that weapon power carry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, again, which one of these two side lanes gets the advantage and who is able to get that first turret down. And not only that, but just whichever side doesn't have their first turret fall immediately, how long their solo laners able to survive in that 2v1 without giving up their turret.
Yeah, here we go, though. Ace positioning in this mid lane, just going to be farming up to start things off. And to be honest, my biggest question for this game is just, at what point do things start to kick off? Because already, you know, we're seeing a very slow start to the game, as you would expect, especially with the picks we've got going on in. A lot of late game picks, which has kind of been a theme of the tournament so far. Very, very late game focused team compositions. We've already got a turret pushed on down from the likes of Qlash. Like we said, that Scarf going to do wonders in the side lane. Now my question is, how do they choose to use that advantage? Where do they go on the map? Where do they move next?
Yeah, sometimes we see teams decide to just say, you know what, we're just going to stick in this lane and keep the 2v1 going and try and get that second turret down. Other times you see the teams rotate around and look to go make plays elsewhere on the map. I feel like if you're Qlash right now, you wait and see what Ace's response is going to be, because if Ace just keeps a single member in the bottom lane, I think you absolutely just revisit that lane, just go right back to work with the Scarf and the Ringo. You can just melt through those waves of minions and get yourself that next turret.
Looks like it could be the call. Ringo and Scarf are going to go back down towards that bottom lane. It's going to be Hundor and Tyra's. Used to be enemies, then 5v5 came into fruition. Now allies in that bottom lane. It is going to be a top lane turret taken away here by Ace. So evening up the scoreboard, evening up the map as well. It's Techno taking a huge amount of damage here.
Directing Dark, Malice, and Verdict's not going to be connecting this time around, but no, not really a whole lot of sustain, because you see Techno did not start with the Book of Eulogies. This is kind of the typical CP Vox start, though, is you go with the Crystal Bit and you go with the Swift Shooter so you can get those attacks out a little bit faster. But again, in this bottom lane, see Hundor and Tyra is just absolutely bullying Sweetbox on this Flicker. Not really what he's going to be able to do. He's going to fall to the goop. And now with this next wave of minions on its way up, Hundor and Tyrus may be able to just take this turret.
This is exactly what you were talking about. You just stay in that lane if there's no response from the enemy team, especially if you can get a 2v1 kill. That is going to be another turret. They can push so quick. I mean, Scarf is renowned for pushing turrets. And, I mean, anyone that builds weapon power is great at pushing turrets. So those are going to drop like paper.
This is Ace making a nice rotation into the mid lane, though. Getting a 3-on-2 situation. That's going to be a nice dive under the turret, nearly popping Techno JJ. That's going to allow the rest of Ace, though. They can get a lot of damage on this mid turret, possibly even take it out. A great impale from Darklon will set up the kill for himself. But now Ace, instead of finishing off this turret, they say, you know what? We're going to go over, we're going to take your jungle buff, and then get back to work in the mid lane. We'll have another pause coming through.
Yeah, unfortunately, still persisting with a couple of technical hiccups. We should be able to get everything smoothed out, hopefully, for you guys. Continue the game. But Ace so far, 1-0 up in the series right now. Qlash very much on the back foot. They have a mountain to climb to win this series now. After losing game 1, it's always, always, always going to be a difficult battle. You have to win 2 games back-to-back against a team that's already proven that they have what it takes to take you out. However, starting things off here in game number 2, Qlash, have managed to really put their foot on the pedal, take 2 turrets in the bottom lane. Techno did just get taken down in the mid lane, but they're not going to lose a turret for it. So an advantage definitely taken in terms of objective, and we'll see where they can go from here.
Yeah, and we'll see how much more they're going to be able to push with that bottom lane. Again, you have to assume that Ace is going to start answering if they try and keep the 2v1 going down there. But it opens up the room for Tyras and Techno to start rotating to other parts, or Tyras and Hundor, excuse me, to rotate to other parts of the map, like you said, and create that numbers mismatch in the mid lane. You send both of them to the mid lane. You have a 4v2 now. If Ace isn't able to respond, you start pushing that bottom lane. You force Ace to have to send multiple members down to that lane to answer, and then you just quickly make that rotate while you have a large wave of minions still pushing. So Ace still has to deal with it, but then you get that momentary advantage in a different lane.
Yeah, now back on into the game we go. There's Ace. Now start to get their mid lane sieged onto, and this is the power of that Scarf pick. It's just any lane you pick, you can just start to burn through. And look at that, 1 singular minion wave, and that's enough to take half of the mid lane turret's health. Here we go, though. Githian wall onto 2, no impale to follow.
Yeah, nice job. Again, this is what Ace is going to have to do. Once they start sending members to a specific lane, you have to answer with numbers of your own. And now all of a sudden, Ace has the numbers advantage in the mid lane if they decide to keep it, but they back off again. This is the second time now that Ace, I feel like, could have committed for this middle turret and taken it down. But instead, they back away. They just get some vision control down in the bottom side of the map and could potentially be looking to find a kill here onto Tetno.
Tetno's not having a fun time of it in this game, and that's going to be Tassa just blowing him up there. I mean, fancy footwork. He dodged a lot from Lance there, but
Yeah,
there's only so
Darklon,
much he can do.
Darklon missed like absolutely everything, but there's just still Tetno goes down because there's too many members. And again, it's all about the numbers game. 3-on-1, you're not going to win that as the one. You're not going to be able to defend that turret. But now, how does Qlash respond? With 3 members in the bottom lane, you'd expect them to have been hard shoving this mid lane or putting someone up in the top lane, but instead, they really don't answer it at all.
So far, they haven't, at least. Darklon coming on into the lane, trying to find himself an Impale. It's not quite going to happen for him as Qlash have grouped up now as well. Tyra's got his energy back. He's been back to base. Now he's got a Spellfire. The dot damage is scary when you see that spike on Scarf. One single A does so much damage, and it's deceptive because it hits you for the initial portion, but then with the burn from the ability itself, plus Spellfire on top of it, you take a surprisingly large chunk of damage.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that that keeps you from being able to recall for a long time too. If you get a little bit low and you just get tagged by one, and when you're below half health, all you want to do is get back to base, but you have to wait such a long time for that Spellfire to wear off before you can actually do so, and it just opens up a window of opportunity for your opponents. You see Qlash right now trying to siege up this middle lane, but a great job by Ace, again, calling other members into the lane and saying, you know what, you are not going to be taking this turret today.
Not just yet, at least. We'll see what they are going to answer that with. And Cracks apparently says, well, if we can't take the mid one, you're going to force the one up top instead. Minion Candy onto that wave as well means even with creation there, that turret could still go down, honestly. Minion waves with a Candy on them, if there's enough, will just absolutely burn through those health bars. But now in the mid lane, we see the rotations once again just to clear these waves. This has been an incredibly passive game from both sides.
The minions did end up taking down that turret again, even with creation up there to defend it. There's so many minions that doesn't matter, and that's one of the things you can do in 5v5 right now. If one lane gets ignored long enough, you can set up these slow pushes that build a massive minion wave. Then you go and just put a Candy on all of them, and you just let the minions do the work for you.
Yeah, and I mean, especially Kinetic doesn't exactly have wave clear. You're going to be able to farm them well, but not clear them, that's for sure. And I'm curious to see how Tetno is going to do on this CP Vox. Tetno is known for his Vox way back in the day. It was weapon power Vox at the time. He's going for the CP. The mechanics are still the same. And here we go. Big fight underway as he jumps into the backline. It is going to be Tyra's absolutely burst on down. Tassa will be answered, though. And it's 1-for-1, jungler for jungler.
And Tassa gets caught up in the gauntlet wall and does end up falling. But while this is happening, Creation is busy up at that top lane, just shoving it in himself, saying, hey, and you guys wanted to make a push with your minions on a distraction play? We can do the exact same thing. However, Ringo is able to get there and start clearing out that wave and should be able to prevent that turret from falling. Like you mentioned, very low, but should be able to get out of here without too much issue.
Yeah, that could have been really dicey there for the likes of Qlash. No turrets going down, though. It was close, but no cigar there for Ace. They're not quite able to snag that objective, but just getting the health bar down halfway is going to make
that Ringo damage we're talking about, taking Creation down to half health with just a handful of shots. And again, it's so difficult to run away from a Ringo. If you get that, you activate the Twirling Silver, you get stutter step correctly, it is so tough to escape it.
And you have to wonder what the build is going to be here for Hundo, because, you know, does he go with kind of that breaking point build where you want the longer fights, or does he go for something like Tornado Triggers and your Tyrant's Monocles, go for that crit damage that you can vie into on the likes of Ringo? To be honest, Ringo is not something that I've seen a lot recently, so I'm not up to date on what the optimum build is right now.
I would kind of rather see him go for a little bit more of the Tyrant's Monocles because you do get those guaranteed crits mixed in, and so having that extra crit damage can be very, very beneficial. Whereas, you know, with the breaking point, you are requiring a team fight to go on very long, and that's not necessarily going to be the case. We haven't seen many long, drawn-out team fights at all over the course of the entire day.
No, we really haven't. It's been very high upfront damage, and that's exactly what Ghostwing is experiencing right now as Qlash just gonna annihilate that dragon, and that means that they can force a team fight if they can find their targets. Darklon might just be the one, but he steps away from the stun. Now they back away, trying to disengage from the fight. I say that, it looks like Ace actually wants to go for this one.
Here they come diving onto the Scarf, trying to find the kill, but he's able to kite away. And that's going to be Taza finding himself a kill.
Oh, the Dragon's Breath is
huge! Melting through members of Ace, though. And can they find more kills? It's going to be low on this Lance. They do take down. It's a 2 for 2. But that looks like it might be all that we get out of this. However, look at this Flicker still trying to position up on the back lines of this fight. Tasa is still alive, and a fight's never really over while Ananka is still alive.
It's certainly not. Look at the damage coming out from Ringo as well. Hundor is destroying people right now, and the giant fireball, after he's already killed Darklon just for good measure, throws it on in there. But my goodness, what a turnaround coming out from Qlash. I was so sure that was Ace's fight. They got so much damage out right at the very start of things. I thought it was already going to be over before it had even begun, but Qlash, turn it on its head. Really nice ultimate coming out from Tyrus as well.
Yeah, Tyrus and Krax as well, setting up that big Dragon's Breath with the Gauntlet. Was able to catch a few members, including Tasa, no longer able to run or muck in the backlines. If he gets stunned by that Gauntlet, his next step has to be full-on disengage. Otherwise, he goes down. So, again, if they can find that initial stun onto the Anka, it takes Tasa almost completely out of the fight.
Crystal Treant started up here, and that's going to go the way of Shanna. Shanna has been fairly quiet in this series. It feels like, despite being a mid laner, he's not one of these standout players. He's not someone that's going to individually make these huge plays, but he's incredibly consistent. We've not really seen much bad plays coming out from Shanna. He's not usually the one getting caught out. I mean, no one on Ace is getting caught out, but very consistent player, and I'm excited to see more from him across the course of this tournament, especially on Samuel, because you don't have to be a playmaker to carry on Samuel.
Yeah, very reminiscent of a player like Chuck, where, not necessarily going to make the flashy plays that make the highlight reels or the Twitch clips, but they're going to be consistent. You know what you're going to get. They're going to be able to be the backbone of a team, and so it's been exactly what Ace needed, is having someone that, they have Tasa and Creation to be those big playmakers, the big flashy plays. You don't want necessarily everyone on your team to be trying to dive onto the enemy backline.
You certainly don't, not with these compositions at least. Speaking of the backline though, Hundor is absolutely going to be the guy to keep your eyes on during these team fights, especially after the fight's been going on for a little while, because he's picked up a Bonesaw as his third item. He did it on Vox as well in game number 1. Didn't really work out for him in game number 1, let's be honest, but we'll see if it's going to work out here on the Ringo instead, because he was already dishing out a lot of damage, and now basically denying any opportunity for a front line to block.
Yeah, the big thing will be keeping our eyes on the fact that Sweetbox does have an Atlas Pauldron, and if they can use that Atlas Pauldron and get the slow, you see both dragons getting taken simultaneously, but this will be the Ghostwing for the side of Qlash.
Can they steal it?
They steal
no,
the
they can't.
Black Blood. They don't get the steal, but can they find the fight? Looks like they want to try and dive in. Big Dragon's Breath's going to come through. Doesn't hit many people, though, and that could spell trouble if Ace tries to turn this around.
Right.
But Flicker gets absolutely caught, separated from the rest of the team.
Incredibly important that they got at least one kill there. They had to force something because Black Claw is going to be pushing now. You have to respond to Ace, whereas Ace can kind of just keep you at arm's length with that Ghostwing. I would say that Ghostwing stronger generally, but only if you can find the right situation, and in a 4v5 that certainly wouldn't be the case. Black Claw is going to be finished off though. Ace do get one turret, almost a second one, but now Qlash are the ones with their foot on the accelerator pedal. They're going to be able to go wherever they want on the map, and Ace, they're going to struggle to team fight against this.
Yeah, Qlash absolutely getting the advantage in that trade, because the turrets are aren't worth really that much in terms of the team-wide gold, whereas the Black Claw does get you that 250 gold each. They don't know that they're here.
There it is.
They do finally get the scout cam down, but I just really want to see one of these party brushes actually work for once.
It's too obvious though, isn't it? It's like, there's a thing in MOBAs called dude potential. Yep. Every brush you don't know about, you have to figure out how many dudes could be inside it. And if you can't see anyone on the enemy team, probably drop the scout count down, I think is a fair shout to make. Crystal Treant going to be stolen away here by the likes of Qlash, unless we can see some kind of steal coming on through.
Well, they're looking for it. Not going to get it.
But wow, I mean, can we just take a second here and appreciate how close this is? Qlash coming in as huge underdogs, managing to take a 2-1 win over Nova in their first series of the day, and now up against Ace, one of the favorites of the whole tournament, looking fantastic. The fight is going to kick off though. Here we go, Impale onto 2, but it's actually going to be Dark Lord. Solo already goes on down, and now they're pushing onto the carries. Tyrus using that Dragon's Breath, it'll finish off a turret, and in goes Tassa to the backline. Not going to be able to finish anyone off though, and the Ringo damage coming on through.
And nearly finding the kill onto Flicker there, but Team Qlash finding themselves a kill and getting that armory turret down. And you were saying, like, nobody gave these guys a chance. Even after they beat Nova, all of us were like, okay, but there's no way they do this against Ace. Like, Ace looked so dominant in their first series against Tribe, but Qlash are 100% holding their own here. They're nearly on the verge of tying this series up at 1 game apiece.
They certainly are. I'm excited to see if this will go to the full 3 game. But let's not get too excited here, because game 1 ended with Qlash in control and Ace turning things on their head, rushing down the base. It's still very possible. Let's bear in mind there's only the armory turret remaining in the top lane for Qlash. So if Ace find an opportunity, they very much can end the game. This is certainly not done for them.
Yeah, we're also getting pretty late in the game now, 17, 18 minutes. Means those death timers are going to be a little bit longer. You have more time to make a play if you do catch someone out of position. So this is where those scout cams become even more important than they usually are. And they're already pretty darn important. It's going to be Ghostwing getting started up. Ace not going to make any move really to try and be able to stop this. Although here comes the Mooncloak. They do get a nice stun right away onto that carry. But now it's going to be Honka having to run away. Ghostwing gets captured.
Tassa having to use his Mirage there. That's a 30-second cooldown. I don't think Qlash will be able to find a fight quick enough to punish that, but had anyone else mispositioned immediately after that, that's when things start to get really dicey. But Tassa, he needs to get back to base so that he's ready to fight.
Yeah, he's sitting at about a quarter health right now. Will get healed up a bit, but with Blackclaw on the table, this is what caused the disaster in game number 1.
This time they have full health though. This time could be different. Let's find out for ourselves here.
Nice
the zoning from Keanu is unbelievable.
Here we go. There's going to be Drifting Dark. Malice and Verdict's going on in. Nice AoE's Gauntlet. It's going to hit a couple of stuns, but can they find the damage? Dragon's Breath is going to be in the corner, but no, it gets canceled out. What a sleep. Now it's going to be an opportunity for Ace to maybe find a kill, but it looks like everyone's just going to be backing away and resetting a little bit.
Oh my, now we're in the exact same situation
now
as
it's
game
dangerous.
number 1. Here we go. Blackclaw down less than half HP. Who's going to be able to finish this one off? The healing that's going to be taken, it is going to be Qlash finishing the objective. Techno getting healed by that Ace buff. And it was tight. It was close right there. But Qlash just about get away with the objective.
But the thing is here now, Ace just melt through this Blackclaw. Like they're not even going to lose a turret off of this, very likely. And so this all of a sudden becomes a black, unless Qlash can like find a turret somewhere else on the map, this is just advantage to Ace.
Yeah, it is going to be a nice bit of gold for them. Half of a turret taken. Definitely not the ideal scenario when you manage to get a Blackclaw. But I mean, at the end of the day, I definitely agree with them not just following up on the push there, not just trying to force something for the sake of forcing it. I'd rather give away 2,500 gold, or sorry, it's less than that now, but I'd rather not give that gold away than force a fight and end up losing the whole game.
Yeah, that's definitely true, but like, why not just back away after that first skirmish? Like, you don't need to go for Blackclaw there because you know you're not going to be able to follow it up because you're such low health. So I don't agree with the decision to actually take the Blackclaw in that scenario.
Well, weapon is going to be given over to Hundor as these guys get ready once again for the next team fight. That's been the story of this game so far, is kind of, you know, fight over an objective, take a minute, reset, get your buffs. Okay, it's time to 5v5 again. It's time to posture for this battle once more into the fray. Qlash heading up towards the top lane now, as that's the only lane on the top lane that has a turret left because mid also has a tier 2. So I was going to say a false statement.
A for
changed
effort.
my mind.
A for effort. But this is all of Qlash. Ace is going to be coming up to respawn. They get that turret down quickly. Here comes the Mooncloak. Can they find a flank onto this Ringo? Ringo's going to get, or the sleep gets blocked, but it's a lot of damage being eaten right now by a few members of Qlash.
This is
but
huge.
they've got him isolated.
Flicker's going to go down right here. Water Wall is going to block the ultimate coming out from Kinetic Fountain. It's not going to be enough to keep Darklon alive as Creation and Tassa have to bail on out on their teammates right here. 4 members remain as one heads back to base. It is going to be Keanu Nakoa. I'd expect teleport boots potentially to come on through. No, that's going to be huge. 2 kills coming on through. Make that 3. And Hundor, nowhere to go, tries to turn things around, but there's just no way. The shutdown for Ace.
And overstaying for Qlash. This has been a common thread throughout all day. The team's just sticking around a little bit too long, or overreaching just a little bit, getting caught, and just giving up what was a massive lead and allowing their opponents to turn things back around.
Things are certainly starting to heat up in here, that is for sure. As they push on through, manage to take themselves a team fight, and now with gold, I mean, we're getting to the point in the game where gold really stops to matter anywhere near as much. We're starting to get to the stage where it's just about team fights. It's about making sure everyone on your squad has that infusion. There's a couple of people that are still finishing off the last 1 or 2 tier 3 items, but generally speaking, this is about positioning. This is about fantastic ultimate abilities, and it's about coordination.
Yeah, you've got full builds on both of the weapon carries, Creation and Hundor. You got the Crystal Mages just a little bit behind both of them, looking to finish off their final tier 3 items. But like you said, the gold difference is really not going to be that significant in a team fight.
We're getting to the point where we're going to decide this game, because I've got a feeling this next team fight could decide everything. If it's decisive in either direction, the Black Claw's available. That is easily enough to end a game. Qlash certainly with a bit more of an advantage when it comes to ending a game, as they do have that open armory that they can just charge on in. Hundor just going to be able to recall away. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, if he had gotten caught there, that could have been disastrous. But this will still be a Ghost Wing
This
going
could be a
the
trade,
way
though.
of Ace. However, Qlash is starting up the Black Claw in the meantime. And
How fast can they do it is the question. That's going to be it. Ghostwing is going to be captured. Still half HP on this Black Claw. They've got to finish this ASAP. The fight is going to come on through as Ace force this engage. Huge damage coming out from Samuel at this stage in the game. It's been stolen. That is absolutely huge for Ace. They're going to be taking down the members of Qlash. I think it might just be over right now as Techno JJ falls. Double kill comes through for Creation, and the Black Claw charges on into the base.
you've got to feel for Qlash. 2 games in a row.
You've got to be kidding me.
At the Black Claw and lose the game as a result. But what fortitude from Ace to play this style of game with Qlash. What a great showing from Qlash to hang with Ace for so long. But in the end, Team Ace picks up the win, and they will be punching their ticket to the grand finals.
Phenomenal stuff coming out from the East Asian representative into the finals. A full best of 3. Qlash certainly getting their money's worth out of this series, it's fair to say. But at the end of the day, in both games as well, it all comes down to one final team fight.
Yeah, and that's just the way Vainglory goes. The one team fight at the end of the game can decide everything. Doesn't matter how close the game is. One decisive team fight is all it takes. And in that one at the end, you saw it was the Lorelei getting caught, getting blown up initially. Once you don't have that amount of crowd control, the zone denial that Lorelei can provide, or the water wall available, it's just so difficult to continue to try and win team fights. You see the teams there shaking hands, giving hugs around, but this is, I can't believe I'm saying this. We could still see this matchup again.
Yeah, we absolutely could. Let's have a glance over the scoreboard here, because honestly, Tassa, once again, phenomenal performance, but Creation, I think, was the MVP here. Let's pass it over to some experts who can tell us a little bit more about who was the MVP as I pass it back over to Dean.
All right, man, what a game. And it looked like the comeback was on, And unfortunately, just one nice steal there by Team Ace turns this one around, and Team Ace going to be your champion and moving on to the finals, the winners finals. Guys, thoughts on the series?
Once again, I got to say, like, even though they lost the series, I'm still proud of this team. I think Bacon touched on it. There's still a chance we see this matchup one more time. If that happens, it's up in the air. Like, it could go either way if they learn from their mistakes. But Ace obviously looks strong and take a strong victory.
I am remarkably impressed by Europe in Qlash. They played phenomenally. They can hold their heads high. They had a gold lead for a good majority of that game. Just some interesting decision-making around the objectives. A toss-up play like that can really go either way.
The push where they stayed too long. Keanu TP'd back.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah, so good stuff from them. Their tournament not over.
If anybody was talking trash on this team, like right now after all this, I mean, no joke. 1 or 2 decisions, they win both of those games, and they're going to the final. Like, that's nuts. That is the truth, though. This squad is actually the real deal.
I agree.
They've got
100%.
themselves set up in the losers finals. But to discuss the victory on the winner's side, let's send it down to the jungler of Team Ace with Lucy May.
Thanks, guys. Yes, Lucy May here with Tassa yet again, the winners of this last match. Hey, here's my first question, Tassa. All right, so the analysts at the start of this matchup predicted this was going to be a quick sweep, but Qlash actually held you pretty well, neck and neck. I mean, you guys were going all the way into what we went 25 minutes into the last couple games. What were they doing so well?
25분까지 되게 치열했잖아요. 되게 25분까지 하는 것처럼. 그래서 뭐 어떻게 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지, 어떻게 왜 이거 클래시가 어떻게 무슨 면에서 잘했다고 생각하는지.
아무래도 저희가 초반에 조금 약한 조합을 잡았었고 후반까지 동등하게만 안 터지고 동등하게만 성장을 하면은 이길 거라는 확신이 있었기 때문에 딱히 시간은 저희 편이라는 생각을 가지고 했던 것 같습니다.
They thought that this time was on their side, but in the beginning they just had a strategy, just try to go even as possible, and then they just, they thought that time was on their side. Yeah.
All right. Well, Qlash being the underdog and that we just saw they held you guys pretty well. You are continuing on into the winners bracket to play the winners of the lower bracket coming back up. What kind of strategy are you going to implement into that, knowing that, again, Qlash, the underdogs, but they really held you close? What do you need to change to really up your game?
그러니까 원래 클래시가 되게 잘할 거라고 생각 안 했는데 좀 많이 팽팽했잖아요. 근데 그런 것처럼 이따가 다음에 싸울 팀도 사실은 졌지만 다시 올라오는 팀이잖아요. 그래서 그런 거에 대해서 어떤 전략 같은 게 있는지.
아무래도 저희 이제 드래프트 해주시는 코치님께서 모든 팀을 상대로 준비를 했기 때문에 누가 올라오더라도 저희는 무섭지 않습니다.
So their coach, with their coach, yeah, they're pretty much well prepared. So like for the strategy and the tactics, they're just like ready and go and fight.
All right, well, it sounds like you've got every base covered, no pun intended, but congratulations, you're moving on, and let's go ahead and continue on this day, sending it back over to the analysts.